I'm a computer man.
I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip?
I'm a computer man.
I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to Macway. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Central Coast, Monterey, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opito, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, and of course, online also at our new app, available in the App Store and also Google Play Store for both your iPhone and Android phones. Super cool. Check it out. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday nights, your local radio station, your KSQD radio station. And I am stoked to be here with you tonight. We have a lot of computer stuff to talk about. Snap out of all the other stuff, and we're going to talk into computer madness and all sorts of things that are going on in the world of computing and everything that has to do with computing. Let's see. What have we got going on today? Well, of course, if you say to yourself at any point, this guy's talking a little bit quick. How am I supposed to get all these steps down? Well, let me tell you, we've got our amazing KSQD website. I love the KSQD website. It's always got good stuff going on it. A lot of current events and things that are just happening here at the station and beyond. But there on our website, you can check out our listening tab, which is under we have our listening tab and had a 2-week audio archive underneath that. From there, you can listen to any of our shows on the station, including The Computer Man, or any of the shows you might have missed, including some of our music shows, etc. And just check out the website. It's pretty cool. On top of that, also, we have our amazing donate button, and I love it because it allows me to be here. It allows me to come to you. It allows me to come in and say hi to everybody and tell what's going on out in the world of computing, and also allows us to be here for everybody. So if you jump on to ksqd.org and hit that donate button, we sincerely appreciate it. We know how much is coming in, make it a monthly thing, and allows us to be here. Allows the electrons to keep flowing through the board, allows the lights to come on, and allows the amazing volunteers a place to sit. So we love you for it. I'm so stoked to be here with you, and stoked to get this party started. All this computer madness. We're going to be talking about it tonight. Of course, you like to listen to, or if you like to reach out to me after the show, you can always hit me up by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. During the show, we have the on air at ksqd.org. I'm firing up right now. So if you want to give us a quick call or give us an email over there, on air at ksqd.org, I'll see it pop up right in here in front of me. And yeah, our phone number, 831-900-5773. Those phone lines, boop, boop, boop. They are open and on and online. So if you would like to give me a call here at the station, 831-900-5773. Okay, well, of course, those of you who are just jumping on the Computer Man Show for the first time, stoked to have you. That's right. What is this show? What are we going to talk about? Computers and everything else, right? New devices, updates, testimonials, scams, and our call-ins. What's going on with your machine? What is going on with your system, your network, your computer, your phone, your internet-connected toaster, whatever it is? Let's talk about it and complain together. I'm with you. So give me a call, 831, that's 900-5773, 831-900-KSQD. See how it spells KSQD? Pretty cool. And jump on. We're on every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And I guess also on air at ksqd.org. You've got that fired up, like you said. And we're ready to rock and roll. Let's see what we've got tonight. We always start with scams, right? And I do that because I like them the least. So that's right, because I want to get through them and get her out of it. So right now, the Scam Central right now, it's nothing. There's nothing new I'm seeing right now. We're really close to the election. I'm not seeing anything like crazy new, any type of new pushes or anything, no AI voices saying not to vote or anything. But there is some weird stuff kind of going on that round, but we're not going to be talking about any of that stuff. I did get a random text message still from like USPS. Oh, your package needs customs, this, that. Those are still going on. I don't know anybody who clicks on those, but there's obviously people who still click on them. So those are still coming around. If you get a random text that says you have a package and it's wherever, they're not hiding it. They're not even trying. Look at the link. The link that I got for this one that says that for my package. Let me actually see if I can search for it. It says package. It was for USPS. Here you go. your package. Oh, nope, that's actually a real one. Ha! Let's see. USPS, PS. Let's try that, USPS. Here we go. There it is. Okay. First of all, it comes from Patria at mz8wsl.com. That is not the USPS. Just saying, not the U.S. Postal Service. They would have a better email address than coming from Partia, mz8wsl.com. So it says, U.S. Customs, you have a USPS parcel being cleared due to a detection of an invalid zip code address. A zip code address? Okay. The parcel cannot be cleared. The parcel is temporarily detained. Please confirm the zip code address information in the link within 24 hours. And the link is terrible. uspkfo.top/track. What is that? It's not the USPS, right? It says, please reply with a Y, and then exit the text message and open it again to activate the link. You're like, okay, so because when they sent this to me, it doesn't show up as a link because that's one of the things that the new iOS is doing. It doesn't show up as an immediate link if it's something weird like that. So when you reply yes, the account kind of becomes alive, and then you can click on the link. And if you click yes, you are telling them that you exist, and that yes, this phone number that they reached is a real human being, and that human being clicks yes on things that they don't understand, and will most likely click yes on other things that they don't understand. So it's important that you just ignore it. You can read it, you can laugh, you can tell your friends, you can take a screenshot and send it to me. But for the most part, you just want to ignore that stuff. That way they don't know. They wasted the money by sending the text out, and you will not write them back, so they know, or they won't know that your phone number is real and functional. So, but they're still going on. USPS, UPS, FedEx, all of them. DHL, you get them for there, all sorts of things. But the website is the main thing. You can read all that stuff, whatever. You don't even have to read the whole thing. Just look at the website. See if it's USPS.com/tracking/something, right? If it's not, it's not. If it's not UPS.com, if it's not FedEx.com, if it's not DHL.com, it's something else, right? Okay. Okay, so let's see. That was one I literally received. So those are just still around. I just want to let you know that they're still coming around and still exist. Oh, also right now there is a push for not necessarily like counterfeit iPhones, but there's a couple weird things out there right now for cell phones, because this iPhone 16 just came out. So of course, since the new phones are out, old phones are, people are kind of trading their phones, and they're buying a lot more phones, or they're upgrading, et cetera, because that's like what the time is right now in September, October, because of the new phones coming out. So if you are upgrading, if you're looking at something, just keep your head, and just, if there's a deal that's too good to be true, it probably is. All those type of things, because it's just kind of that scammy time before we get into the holidays where you get scammed in a different way. So watch out for that. The other two things I want to talk about in the scam area, we kind of talked about this a little bit last time, the Apple Care thing, how it claims it replaces batteries when the capacity drops below 80%. It says my phone has been at 82% for the past 4 years, despite noticeable capacity drop. Same with mine. My phone's been like that. Someone wrote me about that and said, hey, is this really kind of going on? And, yeah. Yeah, I feel it kind of is. Like, so I found an article that had been written, actually it was this last week, it looks like. And this person had an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it said the battery's currently at 94% with 299 cycles. Said this person, at a lot of 2024, the battery level stayed above 97%, but started dropping more rapidly over the last couple of months. They said they left the phone at 80% limit, and at no point turned the setting off or tweaked it. There were some days when they ran the battery out because it was without a charger most of the day, and there were other times where they had to bring the battery along to make sure they didn't run out of power. It wasn't always convenient to keep it at 80%, but there were days when it didn't have too much of an impact. So they're doing this as an experiment, right? And then it says, it was always a treat when the iPhone randomly decided to charge to 100, which is something Apple has baked into the 80% limit to ensure the battery level stays calibrated. But they were doing, capacity charges where they did a current capacity at 87% with 329 cycles. Current capacity at 90%. It was only 271 charging cycles. But it's interesting to see that the battery's kind of just, I don't know. It's my tinfoil hat stuff where you go to, okay, well, I'm looking at a percentage and I'm looking at a cycle count. Then I look at another percentage and another cycle count, and they don't mathematically go together. Now, granted, it's not going to be perfect, right? It's chemicals, it's operating environment, it's the way that it was charged. Every battery's going to be a little bit different because the person that's using it and the load that's on the battery is going to be heavier for some people, less for some people, heavier at night, heavier in the hot weather, heavier in the middle of the night, whatever it is, right? It's going to be a little bit different. So you kind of take what one person does and kind of apply it to yours and see how it works. But It says that, it says it's possible that the real gains from an 80% limit will come in 2 or 3 years rather than a single year. Or keep it limited to 80% to see the tongue. But this, this person basically, they said Apple's told them to keep it at 80%. So this person's like, fine, I'm going to keep this phone at 80%, and I'm going to see how well it does. And the 80% charging limit really didn't do a whole lot. Now, again, you're comparing for this person who kept their phone at exactly what Apple wanted them to do. Again, charge capacity 87% with 329 cycles, or when they were at 90% at 271 cycles. So it's more of a comparison to what you've got and see if it's a lot better, if you have more cycles and less capacity. On to be honest, I don't remember seeing the cycle count. You could do that on a Mac, but I don't remember the actual cycle count being shown. They probably were using a third-party piece of software to look at the cycle count. Let me see if mine has a cycle count. It doesn't look like it does. So, yeah, last charge in 10 days, battery percentage, low power mode. Has how much my screen time has been on, the garbage that I look at. Yeah, but it doesn't have like an actual time like that it would actually show. So, anyway, but kind of weird. But that's again, tinfoil hat. I feel that's one of the ways that Apple can get you into a new product. Make the battery not that great. Glue the battery in. Make it so you can't remove it. That's what they've been doing on all the MacBooks since 2017. It's been almost 10 years of us having non-removable batteries in MacBooks. Not only are they non-removable, they glue them in such a way that you have to heat the glue up to almost the flash point of the battery, which is crazy. I mean, great. Yes, there are fluids. You can pour the fluid in there that'll dissolve the glue, and then you hack away with it with a credit card. And this is not... I mean, we've had if anyone has ever used one of those 3M hanging wall things, you hang it on the wall, you stick it to the wall. When you're done with it, you pull the little tab and the 3M stuff. When you pull the material apart, the material loses its grip. It has more ductility, and then it loses its gripability because of the way that the actual the compound of the glue and the actual rubber stuff. So when you pull apart, it loses all its glue, and the thing comes right off. They could do that for Mac batteries. In fact, they basically do that for I think it was the iPhone batteries, or there's a battery company that you take your tweezers and you twirl the little plastic, and it slowly pulls the adhesive out, and as soon as the adhesive's all gone, you can literally just lift the battery right out. It's pretty cool. But they don't do that. That's clearly, again, tinfoil hat. It's clearly a place where they can make some money. And also, people want their battery to work. And people also don't understand that the battery doesn't make the computer work. The battery only gives you portability. So people see the battery, service battery soon. You go, oh my gosh, I need a new computer. Like, well, what do you do with it? Well, I sit with it on my desk, and I do it all day over my desk. And you're like, well, that's probably why the battery needed to be serviced, because you didn't discharge it. But you don't need the battery because you're using it as a desktop laptop. If you want to take it to the couch with no charger, yeah, you're going to need a battery and stuff. But if you got a charger on the couch, who cares? So, again, with the iPhones, with the MacBooks, the battery is very important, and it does things to allow portability, but the importance lies there alone. It doesn't give you anything better and doesn't make the machine faster or slower even. Sometimes, every once in a while, a battery will backfeed and make a computer do weird things, but very rarely the battery will impede speed. But you can turn your performance down to give you more battery life, so therefore your computer's a little bit slower, but you will get more battery life. Just like turning your brightness down gives you a little bit better battery life because you're not using those LEDs as hard, right? So, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. So the battery stuff, again, that's all tinfoil hat stuff for me because we can't really look at it because they've locked us out of a lot of that stuff. Then you get an app that reads a lot of the things like cycle counts, and you can kind of get an idea of how well your battery's doing. With MacBooks, if your MacBook hits 800 cycles, and you can check this right now, you can go up to the Apple at the very top left, you go to System Preferences, actually you go About This Mac, Apple About This Mac, then you hit System Report at the bottom, or the little link that's at the very bottom of that next window, and then from that, it should give you either the option to go to System Report, or it launches your System Report where it has a white box with all these things on the left-hand side, ATA, power, etc., and you want to click on Power. And then on the right-hand side, you'll scroll down, you'll see the battery, and it'll have a cycle count. And it'll tell you how many cycles your battery has had. And as soon as the software counts 800 cycles, no matter how good the battery is, no matter how bad the battery is, no matter if the battery's doing whatever it's doing inside the machine, if it's 800 cycles, a little software moniker thing will pop up at the top saying, hey, service battery. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good the battery is, doesn't matter how bad it is. It's not contingent on that. It's contingent purely on cycle count and taking that number, click, and clicking over and having the software pop up and say what it's supposed to say. Last thing I want to talk on the scam side, then we're going to get into some more of the fun stuff. Right now, there is actually, I think it was down as of this morning, but for the past week, there was a fake Costco website, CostSSCO.com. And it was showing up in Google searches. When you would search for Google, when you search for Costco, you click on it and it's a full-blown Costco website. It looks great, and they want you to buy stuff from it because they're just taking credit cards left and right. So it was literally the second link on Google searches. And now the website is now down, and also it's been removed for Google searches. So, but it was there for a week. And so even with our Google searches, anyone can buy ad space, and theoretically they're vetted, but that one kind of slipped by, I guess, or whatever. But they're not vetted very well, because you can jump onto a second link inside Google and still go to someplace that's malicious. So you just, even when you're clicking on links, when you're looking at stuff, especially on Google, when we do our Google searches, etc., just look at where it's going. Look at the first. That's not about all that stuff later on, all those the crazy letters and the direction stuff. It's all about www.what. Where's that going? That's what you want to do. www.what, right? And that's where you want to see. Because if it's going to Costco.com, what are we doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. So don't go to those websites. Look out for that. And like I said, that stuff can come at you from all angles, especially just in a Google search, second listing down. So if you're really curious about all this stuff, cyber101.com. It's those guys out in, I think they're on the East Coast somewhere. They made a little website about it's basically high quality cyber awareness training. And they'll cyber101.com. You have little cover. There's courses about like generalized protection, or if you're really curious about certain things like phishing or passwords or ransomware, device security, network security, phishing, global threat landscapes, that kind of stuff, data security, privacy, any of that stuff. If you want to dive into it a little bit, cyber101.com has these free courses that will teach you a little bit and get you some more information underneath your belt. It's kind of cool. Yeah, totally free, no ads, no catch, and no data mining, which is very nice, which makes me feel good about offering it to you. So, yeah, let's see what else we've got. Let's see if there's any other. It doesn't look like there are any current events really going on here that I see on here. Let's see if we have any crazy articles. We talked about Kaspersky last week, about how everyone's got their antivirus switched. Oh, this is kind of cool. We've been kind of talking about Apple. Anyway, we were talking about Apple quite a bit, but there is a new feature that's really neat. And granted, the PC side has had this for a while, but no one really uses it. I'm curious if anyone's going to use it on the Mac side. iPhone mirroring for iOS 18 and Mac OS Sequoia. And you're like, what is that? So let's say you're sitting at your desk, and you're like, oh yeah, oh man, I have that thing on my phone, that photo on my phone that I want to grab, and I haven't synced my iPhone or whatever. You have that thing. I want to look at that thing on my phone. Where's my phone? Oh man, it's all the way over there. See it way over there. I can see it, but it's way over there. And oh man, I'm comfy. I'm not getting up. Nope, don't want to do that. So luckily, I'm on iOS 18, and I'm on Mac OS Sequoia, because I've updated everything like a little recklessly and just decided to go to all the latest stuff when everything's at a 0.0, and here I am, right? I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not going to iOS 18 or Sequoia until they get at least a few, like one iteration of their updates on. People are having some problems with the Sequoia, but again, it's a new operating system. In iOS 18, I haven't heard anything yet, so I haven't jumped onto that yet. I haven't heard anything good or bad. Love to hear from you. If you have anything, 831-900-5773. If you jumped on either one of those operating systems and you're okay with it. Sequoia actually dropped out. A friend of mine's album artwork, lost all their album artwork on 900 albums on their music. And so I was like, oh, just things like that, just ugh. Anyway, so if you have just jumped on to OS Sequoia and you're on iOS 18, you can do something called iPhone mirroring. And iPhone mirroring will allow you to basically show your phone right there on your desktop, and you can scroll through your phone just like it's sitting, like if you taped it to your screen, and you can use your mouse to move, you unlock your screen, you can go through your apps, you can launch apps, you can run applications, you can look through things, you can, get that phone number out of your contacts or get a note out real quick that you don't have linked anywhere else. It's a really cool feature. On your phone, it's not showing, it's not like mirroring everything, it's showing everything you're doing. It shows a little moniker saying, hey, so-and-so is logged in using iPhone screen mirroring. But it's pretty cool. You basically just have to authenticate your Mac each time you want to use it, and then the iPhone needs to be locked while in the iPhone mirroring session. You can't use it while you're mirroring, so it can't do like two at once or whatever. Yeah, so it'll get a warning. If you try to unlock it, it'll say, hey, it's in use. But you can't launch it from your phone. You have to do it from your Mac. And then there's a dock icon that goes there, and you can get it from the launch pad if it's not there already, and you can jump on, and then you can set it up. So it has to be on, let's see, the latest machine you can have is a 2018 MacBook Pro or Mac Mini. And then that's on any of the... Okay, with the T2 security chip, okay, fine. Any of the iPhones up to, it'll do the second and third gen SEs. It'll do the XR, the XS, the XX Mask. Oh my gosh, Max. Hello, everybody. And the iPhone 11 all the way up to the current models. So kind of cool. I haven't used it yet because I haven't gone to iOS 18 or I haven't gone to Sequoia, but I think that'd be kind of neat. On the PC side, it's been around for a little while. Dell will allow you to look at your phone. If you have an Android phone, you could do it. I think you can also do it's called like Dell Phone Bridge or something. Dell had it at first, I think, unless they purchased it from somebody else. But you could look at it right on your desktop, and you could see everything on your phone. And I think you could do it for Dell Mobile Connect. That's right. And it allows you to mirror your screen, the phone on your screen. So it can do it. Let's see, does it do it for both PC for Mac, like iPhones, etc.? It looks like it might do that. So iPhone and Android phone. So Dell has had it for like a year or two or more, and I've really hadn't even heard of it until I saw someone telling me that it upset them and they wanted it off their computer. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's a mirroring thing for your phone. Oh, that's cool. Okay. And it seemed to work pretty well. You could dial phone numbers and use the speakers. Music will play through your computer speakers, etc. It's like all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. So Mac now has that with Mac OS Sequoia, and if you have iOS 18, theoretically now you can do some screen mirroring. I'm sure I'll have to fix that at least once or twice in the shop. All right. Let's see. Anything else here? There's that lady with the artificial intelligence stuff, smartphone, microphone, blah, 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 blah. Also, just this real quick, kind of talked about this last week a little bit, but when is this? July 1st, 2026, they're going to be banning cell phones in California schools, banning iPhones, banning smartphones. Like either you have to put it in like a locker, or you have to, like a locker, or you have to or they'll, there's going to be some process to do that, but they have it until 2026 for it to kick in. And I was just kind of curious, like with the climate of everything right now with school shootings and stuff like that, if you take the students' phones away, is there any other way that the school is going to allow students to like maybe communicate if something goes down? You know what I mean? Like that, just kind of curious about that, kind of interesting. But it's, I understand. I get it. I mean, I'm one of the last, I graduated high school in 1998. Yeah, last century, right? And we didn't have, cell phones were like just barely coming out. Like the Nokia Snake game was like just starting, right? Just starting. Like there was no real cell phones. We had, flip text pagers, and there were really no cell phones. So I can't imagine being like a high school kid or a middle school kid and having all this social media. So I can't imagine it. So if they take it out of schools and it stops some bullying or something, cool. That sounds good. The other things I'm not really too hot on because it's scary because there's so many shootings and stuff right now. So anywho, let's see what we've got here. Oh, here's my giant email packet. So we're going to go through a couple emails real fast, and then we're going to go to our quick halfway break, and then we'll come back to some more email questions as well as some phone calls if you have any of those going on. I don't think there's anything else, current events going on nothing really we want to talk about. So we'll jump into emails, and we got a lot of good stuff in emails and get caught up in that. I have like 20 pages of emails to go through, whatever. So we'll get through them. There's a lot of good information in here. We actually talked about this first one last week a little bit. Why do I have two GPUs? A GPU is a graphics processing unit. Why do I have two of them? So I'm new to all this PC stuff as a 7-year console user, which is a video game system, and I wanted to get a PC my friend gave me. I want to give it some good parts. He told me to buy an AMD Radeon RX 7900 GRE graphics card, and I just listened. But when I checked the AMD software, Adrenaline Edition Performance, it said I had two GPUs. And when I was trying to do the application, it asked me which GPU do I want to use, which is the AMD Radeon RX 7900 or the AMD Radeon graphics. What's the difference between these two? So, okay, so there are two, like you said. One is actually integrated into the CPU, into the central processing unit. It's kind of like, not like a system on a chip type thing, but it's one of the main parts of the computer. It's built in. Can't remove it, can't change it, can't upgrade it, can't do anything with it. It's built in. You might be able to allocate a little bit more RAM to it, but it's going to take away the RAM that you have from the system. It's just going to be dedicated video memory. So the other one, the RX 7900, is a standalone graphics card. That graphics card is something that is a dedicated piece of hardware that can be removed or upgraded, removed, and when I say upgraded, it'd be replaced. But that has dedicated components in it for graphics only. That's what it's designed to do. That's it. So when you were choosing which one you wanted to use, you want to choose the Radeon RX 7900 because that's the one you want to change all the frame rates on, or change the refresh rate, or change the output resolution, or whatever it's going to be, or the voltages even on the processor, depending on what that software can do. So that would be the one that you want. So the first one is basically if you use it for just general stuff, spreadsheets, some basic online things and stuff like that, and you don't need that gaming performance that you would need out of the secondary graphics card. So you just make sure also that the monitor that you have is plugged into the 7900, the big graphics card, and not the one that's on your main board. Because otherwise you'd be paying for that card, but you're not using it because you're not viewing your stuff through it. So make sure it's plugged in properly and you'll be good. Also, moving along on that same route, does a 4K cable mean it allows every resolution smaller than 4K? Okay. So it says that they say, hey, I know this is probably a dumb question. Not true. Every question is valid. Every question is good. If you've got it, someone else has it. And if you've got it, it's important. So always kick me out. Any question, no matter how small or how whatever you feel it is, it's still a good one. Anyway, now that's been said, I've tried to answer this question myself, came up with empty, sort of understand the basic resolutions and stuff, but not really, so I expect it might be saying something kind of strange. I'm trying to, I have a mini display port, the Thunderbolt looking, to HDMI adapter so I can connect my late 2013 iMac to a drawing tablet that has an unusual resolution of 2560 by 1600. And it's a 16 by 10 widescreen thing. Okay. Currently I have an old adapter from 2017 or so, but when I use that on the drawing tablet, it has a vertically stretched display where the circle looks like an oval, no matter what resolution I set. And when I force it to 2560 by 1600, it shows two black bars on the left and right screen, but it's still stretched vertically. I believe this is because the adapter doesn't support the resolution. So I'm looking at buying a new adapter, but I'm very confused by it all. Is it just a simple situation where I just need to buy an adapter with 4K support so it'll work for me? Or I'm just trying to achieve that 2560 by 1600 resolution. And so just go get a 4K cable and that'll do it? Or it doesn't work that way? Or was it? So, okay. So with the iMac, right? We can't really tell if it's going to support a 4K display because the video output most likely doesn't have that resolution. But according to the manual on the iMacs, it says it simultaneously supports full native resolution on the built-in display and up to a 30-inch display, 2560 by 1600 pixels on an external display. So yes, that will work. So first of all, you've got some things with like either rotation, a screen display, or something like that that you would change to make sure that's correct, because it sounds like the orientation is incorrect, not just the resolution. But going back to your actual question about the cable, does a 4K cable mean it allows every resolution smaller than 4K? Absolutely. The simplest thing is like buying tires, right? You buy tires that are rated, again, a car analogy, you buy tires that are rated for 170 miles an hour plus, 195 miles an hour plus, 160 miles an hour plus. Do you go that fast? No. Do you? Your car can do 170 miles an hour. It can do 150 miles an hour. Do you do that fast? Do you go that fast? No. But will the car still do 30 miles an hour? Yes, it will. Will those tires work at 30 miles an hour? Yes, it will. Will it work at 50 miles an hour? Yes, it will. Will it work at 5 miles an hour? Yes, it will. So that's the idea with the 4K. It can go up to that resolution and support everything below it. Right? So as long as you're using something that will receive the resolution, you can crank it up as high as it goes. I think something else is going on with that display. Not necessarily that something's broken, but there's an output resolution that we need to change. We need to double up that resolution and probably make your iMac screen look weird so that screen looks great, because it's probably sounds like it's 90 degrees off. That's what I would think. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, we're at about the halfway point here on the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. That means it's 6:30. That means, Penny, it's time to go feed Enzo. Love you, Penny. And I hope all of you are doing great out there. Stick around for just a few minutes. We're going to have some important underwritings about some shows and some things going on here around the station. We'll be real quick, and then we'll be right back with some more Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Don't go anywhere. We will be literally right back.
This is Danny Glover, and you're listening to KSQD Santa Cruz. Keep it tuned right here to Community Radio, K-Squid 90.7 FM.
Hey Squiddies, K-Squid has a new mobile app for iOS and Android. Never go anywhere without your squid. You could win a fabulous K-Squid t-shirt, and here's how. Step 1, download the app to your phone in the App Store or via ksqd.org. Step 2, use the app's Vox Pop function to send us an audio testimonial about why you love K-Squid and community radio. Step 3, the first 10 people to send us a testimonial for our pledge drive get a free K-Squid t-shirt. You're a winner regardless because you're listening to K-Squid. Thank you.
I'm a computer man.
My name is Luigi Tune, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of the Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best.
I'm a computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on the Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
Yes, I am a jazz musician, so I'm a little bit biased on it, but jazz is awesome. Jazz is great, and the jazz that Bobby B brings in is, top shelf. So stick around. Bobby B with Be in the Night coming up at 7 o'clock in less than 30 minutes here on KSQD Santa Cruz, and all you got to do is sit here and let it happen. Just leave the radio on and let it go. It's great, and it'll just wash all this computer nonsense out of your brain. 7 o'clock, Be in the Night, coming up. Don't do anything, just stick around. So we're back here at the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We are talking about computers and email questions and all sorts of stuff. If you have a question, comment, concern, anything going on with your system, give me a call, 831-900-5773. Always good to hear from you. And we'll see what's going on in your world. But I've got these questions. Let's see what's going on in the next one. This is fun. Hacker talks to me through Notepad, and I don't know if they're really gone. That's creepy. When I do remote monitoring for people where I'll jump on their machine and fix something when they're gone, I'll fire up the notepad and I'll leave them a message on their screen. So when they come back to the machine, it's just a little notepad. Hey, so-and-so, I got on your machine. I changed this. I changed that. That looks good. Let me know if any other problems. Hope you have a great day. So it's like this little note left on the machine, but it's literally just sitting there right on the machine, right? And you can see it. So this person, they said, I was on my computer and I suddenly got a pop-up with a smiley face on the top left of the message saying, hello, do not freak out or shut off your device. I obtained access to this device and I want to say that I'm removing my access to the device and a note I've taken and I've done nothing to this device. Sorry for the inconvenience. What the heck is that? Like you find someone in your house. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm in your house. I'm in your house right here. I'm sitting on your couch. I'm eating your snacks, but I didn't eat any snacks. I'm also inside your house. I'm walking through your house, walking through the doors. I took a couple things. I put them all back. I didn't take anything. Don't worry about it. I'm leaving. Whoa, wait, why are you here? Where'd you come from? So a couple minutes later, I noticed my own cursor moving to the Windows search bar, opening the Notes app, and the hacker then types, hello, with me responding back on the page, who is this? Straight up Dwight, or like a hacker style, from the Matrix or something, and Neo. The dude goes on to claim that I downloaded a virus of his and noticed I was connected to his panel, unquote. He then stated that he has, quote, a panel with all his connections, and he saw me on there. And he didn't clarify much afterwards, and then a pop-up said, host terminated connection, client disconnected popped up. The only thing I ever remember possibly getting hacked was downloading a game on Game Jolt that simply changed my background and pulled a pop-up to act scary, but didn't align with the hacker saying I'd access anything today. If someone has remote access to your device, you should always take it offline and wipe it and stuff. But this is weird, right? So I would not be confident in any way that I have gotten this thing off at this. I mean, what is this? this is remote monitoring. This is a program that allows someone to take control of your mouse and take control of your programs. There's a couple places you can look at that, but first of all, you don't need to be online for any of it. So pull that network cable out of the back of it right away and stop. Right? Let's just stop right away. And then now that we're offline, now that there's an island, now we can start looking through the programs and features. We can look through the remote monitoring or the remote access stuff, see if it's something through Windows, see if it's a third-party piece of software. Most likely, you've got something running in the background, an AnyDesk situation, TeamViewer, Rust Desk, any of these pieces of software that allow remote in. Something's running. Something is running on the background, and it's letting people in. As soon as you get rid of that, theoretically, they'll be gone. But you also saw the moniker up there that said that, hey, this client disconnected. What program was that? Look at that program, find that program, get rid of it. Or if you use that program, go into your settings and make sure that no one can do unautomated access or unattended access, excuse me, that's what it's called. So that way if you're sitting there, someone has to actually get your okay to allow them to come in. And that's what I set up for all my clients as well. Unless they have okayed me to come in and do work after hours, before hours when they're not there. Of course, if the computer's off, they're not going to be able to get on it at all. But why are they in there? How'd they get in there? What was that? So, at first I would, if I could, I would wipe the machine. But if I can't, there's a lot of places, a lot of things you can look at, and those would be my options first. And dude's not just going to stop being malicious or, I've removed my things from your computer. What? No, get out of there. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. So, and make them get out right now, right? You can do that. Okay. Okay, let's see. It says, okay, so this person, there was no subject on this one. It says, I'm going insane with it not connecting. I was like, oh boy. Okay, here we go. You ready? It says, I've literally paid more than the dang computer cost to see what the problem is, and it connects to the other Wi-Fi's with no issue, but when I bring it back home and connect it to my Wi-Fi, it doesn't seem to work for some. There's a lot of expletives in here. Reason, I've done everything. I bought a brand new Wi-Fi card and still nothing. I don't know what is the problem here. So here's the checklist. He says he restarted the PC, the modem, and the router. Good. Forgot the Wi-Fi password on the PC, then re-entered it. Okay. After that, I'd actually be curious, to be honest, if it just spins and actually connects, if it says connected with internet, if it shows the internet but doesn't actually allow you to get on. Kind of curious. It says also they said they got as close to possible to the signal source of the router to check to see if the stronger signal resolves the issue. Okay, well, that doesn't sound like it did. They also checked the SSID encryption method, which is the WPA2, WPA3, TKIP, AES, all those different types of encryption ways. And all it does is take your plain text password, the dog is cool, and that's your Wi-Fi password, and puts those dots to them, and then says, hey, on the other side, I'm sending you an encryption matrix on this encryption. Decrypt it with that matrix. And the other side goes, okay, and then they'll receive the dots, and they decrypt it, and then you see the dog is cool or whatever the password is. That's all it does, right? So you just got to make sure those are the same as well, but those usually automatically show up. So again, they checked that as well. That didn't work. Let's see. Of course, it's supported by your operating system unless you're doing something really weird or really outdated or something, or trying something brand new that nothing has. But they're all supported. And then they said also I tried separating the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands. That's the two bands that usually broadcast out, and it connects to each of them separately. But maybe it's an issue with connecting to one of these bands. And say, okay, so it sounds like it could be your Wi-Fi driver. It sounds like it could be a ton of different things. And granted, it sounds like you spent money with other shops and with other people that don't know what they're doing. One of the things that we do at our shop is if we can't fix it, you're not going to pay for it. We do have a diagnosis fee, and we're upfront with that hey, that kind of goes into the process or whatever. But that's way less than the services. If you approve a $400 service and we can't do any of it, you're not going to be paying $400. You're not going to be paying $50 that $400 because we can't do it. So I'm sorry you've paid for this and paid for things that aren't functioning and aren't working properly. But if this machine were to come to me, first of all, I would go to your home and we'd try some things, etc. But I want to make sure that the machine has. I'm really curious about the Wi-Fi drivers on the machine first. I would I would uninstall the Wi-Fi completely, and when it asks you if you want to delete the drivers that you also want, so you check the little box and you delete the drivers as well, so it completely eradicates the Wi-Fi from your machine completely. And then I would then disconnect the Ethernet if you have that plugged in or whatever, and reboot the computer so it's just completely blank and just sits there, and then it will see the driver and try to pull the driver again. If the connection works, go in the Windows Update and then try to see if the optional updates have an updated driver. If it doesn't work, then there could be some type of buggy driver being floating around on your Wi-Fi adapter. I'm curious if you have wired internet and not wireless internet. If you don't have wired internet and you don't have wireless internet, you got another problem. It's not your Wi-Fi card, but it sounds like that your Wi-Fi is connecting to everything else and not connecting to this. So, also curious, like, what you're broadcasting from. Are you broadcasting from the Xfinity modem that everyone has? Are you using some rando TP-Link something from 7 years ago? Are you using some old Linksys WRT 54G router that's from 2001? I mean, like, what exactly are you broadcasting from? That would also denote it. So there's a couple things that's kind of missing here, but I'm kind of curious. Just I have more questions. So there's a lot of things we can go through with this, but I need to know more before we can actually fix this. And I'd like to see the machine too, and make sure it's not the machine and it's can other devices connect to the Wi-Fi? It sounds like I assume that they can, but can they? So it sounds like the Wi-Fi is probably fine. It's probably the Wi-Fi card or something on your system doing something weird. But again, anyway. So moving along. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm the idiot today and accidentally clicked on a stupid Facebook scam link. We all do. I've clicked on them. It happens. I clicked on a Facebook scan, which opened up a box and appeared to be scrolling code with a danger at the top. Turned my phone off. Oh, turn your phone off. Okay. Then I turned my phone on. Okay, and turned the Wi-Fi off and cleared my Facebook cache. What do I do next? Do I need to send out a message to everyone on Facebook not to open anything from me? Do I need to do anything in addition to my phone to make sure all the info is secure? Unless, at this point, you're on your phone. If you're on an Android phone, there may be something you could have downloaded, but I highly doubt it. If you're on an iPhone, you're fine. But unless you dialed the number that was listed and gave your credit card number to the person that's in New Delhi or whatever they are that they're scamming you from, or from Connecticut, wherever they could be, you're fine. Yeah, if you didn't give them a credit card number, you didn't give them any of your personal information, you're fine. They're just on to the next one, and that's nothing. So just a link, just a scam link. And especially if you did it on your phone, that's the best place because you're not really going to be downloading a whole bunch of software on your phone. It would be more on your PC. That would be a real problem. So that's okay. Moving on to another one here. What are the signs of a dying solid-state drive? That's a great question. Solid-state drive is where all your stuff lives on a computer. All of it. It's all your personal information, the hard drive, the operating system, everything lives on the solid state drive, which is a hard drive, just a non-spinning hard drive. It's a solid state media, like a bank of memory chips. Says around 1 week ago, I tried playing a game I had on my secondary solid state drive and noticed everything loading extremely slowly. Today it took multiple minutes for it to launch a single program. So I ended up trying to change the cables connected to it today, which led to the programs on the SSD to not work at all. And then when I tried to open folders through the File Explorer, my PC froze. Oh, geez. I assume I can make the assumption that it has died, but do solid-state drives tend to make their first sign of not working too well than dying within a week? Is it no, we used to have it connected to my PC anymore? My secondary solid-state drive was a Toshiba TR200. Okay. So, so just like anything that exists in the world, if you get a low quality something, you're going to have low quality results and low quality experiences a lot of times with that thing, right? A solid state drive made by Toshiba, I have no idea, dude. If that's who knows who made that? Because Toshiba didn't make that. They hired someone else to make it. They put their name on it. So where is that coming from? I have no idea. When I buy solid state drives, when I buy hard drives, when I buy anything I'm going to put my data on, I make sure that I buy a name brand that I know. Samsung, Crucial, Western Digital, Samsung, any of these hard drive brands, right? You want to make sure you're getting them from somebody who is a reputable source who knows what they're doing. So Toshiba, I'm not really sure. You could download Crystal Disk Info. Crystal Disk Info is a free piece of software that will allow you to look at the SMART status, which stands for smart. It's like self-monitoring and reporting technology, I think is what SMART stands for, something like that. And that will then watch the voltages coming in and out. It'll watch the data rate. It'll watch the speed at which the drive is functioning and give you and then it has its baselines, and then it matches its performance against the baselines, and then gives you a kind of like a value that gives you a like a rating, like a score, like a grade. And so it'll tell you if your hard drive's starting to let go, starting to fail. And with solid state drives, they have a thing that will read that back and forth. So you'll be able to read how many read and writes you've done, and you'll be able to see if the solid state drive is dying just from that. But all the drives kind of fail individually in their own ways. There are, kind of the basic ways that they fail. Do solid state drives get really slow before they fail? Not really. A lot of times the solid state drives, I just see them die. They're working 1 minute and then they're just done. Some cold solder joint happens. There's some type of memory allocation thing that gets screwed up, and the drive just stops. It doesn't kind of get slower and slower and then dies. But some of them could. If you lost a certain path on it or whatever, and it's using redundancy paths, and so now the throughput is, instead of a 10-lane freeway, you're down to 4. We've all sat in traffic. That happens. Same thing with data packets, right? They all get, instead of using all 10 lanes of the freeway, they only have 4. There's still the same amount of data packets. It's going to get congested. It's going to slow down. So also, if it's a Seagate, Seagate Seagate has C tools and a couple other things. You have to usually match the manufacturer with the drive. Toshiba might have a solid state drive information looking program like Crystal Disk Info or some type of health program. Seagate and also Samsung have a couple different tools that work that same way. But you have to have that branded drive. It'll check to make sure. Oh, you don't have a Seagate drive. You're not going to run the Seagate tools. Oh, you don't have a Crucial drive. You can't run the Crucial tools. Same thing. You have to have the Toshiba tools probably to run this. But Crystal Disk Info will read everything, and that'll let you see what you actually have and who's what kind of health it has as well. So Crystal Disk Info. It's a good piece of software also for spinning hard drives. It'll tell you a lot of different things about your machine and about different machines, etc. Okay, here's another one. It says connected with no internet. Connected with no internet. Before I even start on this, a lot of people don't get that you can have full signal and have nothing behind it. So if I were to take a generator and go out to the middle of the salt flats, right, just out in the middle of nothing, there's nothing out there. And so I bring a table and I bring a generator and I fire up the generator. So now I've got electricity out there. And I take my router and I just take the router and I put it on the table and I plug it into the generator, and the router takes its 3 minutes to boot up, and boom, it's booted up and it's now broadcasting Luigi's Wi-Fi. What's behind that Wi-Fi? Is there anything? Can I connect to it with my phone? Yes, I can. Do I get strong signal? Absolutely, full strength. Does it do anything? No. Is there anything behind it? No. Am I connected? Yes, you are. Am I secure? Yes, you are. You're secure, connected with the password. But is there anything behind it? No. So when we see something that says connected with no internet, it's the same idea. We have life from the device. We have life from the network card. We have connection and compatibility and communication between the computer and the network device, whether it be a router, whether it be a switch, whether it be a modem, whether it be whatever device it's being plugged into, whatever that is, we have connectivity to it. We are connected. It is communicating. There it is. It's communicating. But we have no internet, which means there's nothing coming in. It's like going to Home Depot and turning on all the faucets on the displays. Are you going to flood Home Depot? Is their water bill going to go up? No. Are you going to see any water at all? No, because there's nothing behind them. They're just faucets. There's nothing behind them. They're a faucet ready to display, ready to output the water if there's water behind it. You see where I'm going with this, right? So to have connection with no internet means that usually the device is booted, but there's nothing behind it. So let's move on. Let's see. I have a Asus GT2900 router. Okay, I don't Asus routers. I can't recommend or not recommend them, but Asus is not a router company. They make computers and other things. So the fact that you have an Asus router, that wouldn't be my first choice as a router. Anyway, so it keeps throwing connected with no internet on devices, but in the actual router, it shows it does have internet, and I can see all the connected devices. Now you'll be able to see connected devices. Like I said, again, you bring out all your friends out to the middle of the salt flats, fire up your router, and have everyone connect to it. I can see all the devices. I can see Larry's phone. I can see my phone. I can see Dude's phone. I can see that computer over there. I can see this thing, but nothing's online. Nothing is online. So again, we're connected to the device, but the device there's no water coming into the device to disperse through the pipes. So it says, I swapped the router to access point mode, and I was able to get internet on Ethernet that way. So my apartment unit definitely has internet to a degree. I tried 2 other routers and still got the connected with no internet error on devices, but showing internet connection in the actual router menu. My internet is through the apartment complex as well. Does anyone know what this could be causing or what the way to fix this? Okay, so there could be a router firmware. I mean, I highly doubt that would be something like that. But the fact that you use 2 other routers leads me to think that there's something else going on. It sounds like there's a configuration change. It sounds like, first of all, I would find out where the internet comes from. Is it from like an Xfinity box or AT&T or Comcast? Or I'm sorry, or it's a C word. I don't remember. But there's Comcast and Cruise.io. If it's one of these companies, each company kind of comes in a different way. And then again, this is me being the network engineer going and looking at the actual site. If you're just in the apartment, the guy's like, no, I'm not telling you. And you're like, well, okay. Well, I pay for internet and stuff. But I'd like to see what you have. What's the equipment? Is it plugged into a switch? And then the switch is outputting? You should be able to route a routed signal. Like, you should be able to have a modem output a signal to a router, and then you plug another cable into the router to another router, and then you'd be able to use that secondary router. I do that for other people as well. If there's one internet connection on site and there's two homes, you can have a router, and then the router can feed another router, and that one router can be completely segmented from the first router, and so you're not getting traffic crossing back and forth or seeing someone else's files or whatever it is. So I'm kind of curious. Two other routers and got connected with no internet. There has to be configuration. It has to be. I'm also curious if any other devices went online. The fact that you also turned this into an access point mode and got internet to work leads me to think there's a configuration issue that's going on. So I would, so clearly you have a cable coming into your router. If you plug the cable from the wall that goes into your router, if you unplug it from the router and plug it into your computer, do you have internet? If you have internet at that point, then we just have to make sure that we're accessing it correctly and using the routing side and not the access point side. You can go a couple different ways, but it would really depend on if you have internet directly plugged into to the computer from that line. I'm kind of curious about that. All right. Okay. Why does it update and shut down, but never shut down after the update? Okay. Okay. So the machine. So they were doing an update, Windows 10. And now it happens on Windows 11. I don't get it. It's supposed to shut down, then turn back on to complete the updates, and then turn off again. Okay, so yes, this person's asking why does the update and shut down not work properly? And so update and shut down is kind of weird. They used to have a thing where you'd say, okay, I want to update my machine and shut down or whatever. So what it would do is it would update. It would then say, oh, well, I need to restart this. And so it would then restart, go back into the machine, finish the updates, and then shut down. But that doesn't happen anymore, because especially you have to type in passwords and all this stuff if you have to get on the machine. So it doesn't do that. If you update and shut down, it updates the machine and shuts the computer down. Next time you fire it up, it'll continue and finish those updates, and then you're back. So I usually, if I have time, I'll do the update and restart, allow it to go through everything, make sure I'm all with all the updates, and then just shut the machine down. Otherwise, if you do update and shut down, what you're going to do is next time you sit down on your computer, you might have 30 minutes to wait before the computer's even done booting, because it has to install the last update that it shut down from. So yes, this used to be a thing where it would do all those processes, but people didn't understand that it was like, why is my computer turning back on? And they'll turn it off forcefully while it's in the middle of the update. And then it completely bricks the operating system. And now Microsoft's getting a call and blah, 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 blah. So no. If it updates and shuts down, it'll do the update, it'll shut down. We turn the computer back on, there'll be some stuff it has to deal with. Or if you do update and restart, it'll restart the computer, update the machine, restart the computer, come back, finish the updates, and then you're back. And then at that point, then you can just shut down. That makes sense. They said, I think it's a bug. It's not a bug. It's user process when they had one way that they wanted to do it. And then the end users were like, no, it doesn't work. And they're like, okay, fine, just shut the machine down. So it doesn't like that. Okay, this last one. I'm going to end it on a high note. This is awesome, everybody. I hope those of you who are listening have been listening to the whole show. This is the email you've been listening for. Okay. The IT repair store let gas out of my batteries. Yesterday, my girlfriend told me that she went to a local IT store to have her laptop looked at, and as the case was falling apart, that happens, the plastics break apart. They told her it was a swollen battery. We see that all the time. But they would let the gas out and that the battery needs replacing. They didn't say that she could stop using it. The person's like, I immediately thought this sounded insane. Apparently, the man just let the gas out in the middle of a shopping center, like a mall, in the middle of like a mall walkway with no protection, and then taped the battery holes closed with Scotch tape. And then the guy's like, I checked. I looked at it. He popped each of the cells and just placed electrical tape over it. Not Scotch tape, electrical tape. Said, I'm going to be replacing the battery myself, but am I overreacting to go talk to the guy about how dangerous this is? Holy moly. That is crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. If you have one of those burst batteries, just don't do anything. Go online right now and search for popping lithium ion battery. Just, popping battery, and you watch these black smoke nightmares that happen. A pop battery it's caustic, horrible chemicals, and it's flammable. It's a madness mess. So then they sent an update of this. They said, I went to talk to the guy. He reckons it's safe and that they use a special glue to seal it up. Still seems crazy to me as a fire hazard, but just going to avoid that place and replace the battery myself. So I would have done that originally if I'd have known about it. So absolutely, I agree. That's totally insane. And extremely dangerous, to the point where I think you should contact the mall and let them know that this IT shop is going to burn the place to the ground. Of course, stop using the battery, get it to a recycling place as soon as you can. And I would also put it in like a metal box in the in the back of the car or in the back of the bed of the truck or something like that, because whoa, that is crazy, because if it does anything funky, it's going to catch on fire. But don't seal it too tightly so it can vent and everything like that. But wow, that's crazy. So that was a good one to end on. So we're at the end of another Computer Man show, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Hellfest, Team Richie, John Sanders, all the Santa Cruz, Tesla, Wasp, Mr. Casey, Torvalds, and of course, the humble electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on KSQD Santa Cruz. Oh my gosh, K-Squid 90.7 FM and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged weekend. Until next time, and the evening.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you.
I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now. Thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. So if there's something you don't understand, just ask the computer man.
Hi, Mr. Computer Man. My name is Jenny. I have a question for you.
Wait, Jenny does not compute. What is your number, please?
Number? I don't have a number. I'm a person.
A person? A person? A man?